Yeah, you know what the best part is? Yo, he said, get this. He said, we should ban the shift. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Hey. What's going on, guys? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another Major League Baseball recap. Today is going to be a whole lot of fun and very, very interesting because we have some rule changes to talk about. Now, the first thing I want to say is these are not taking place in MLB for quite some time, but what they are doing is they're doing a test run in an independent league, and there's some rules that just make me think, what are they doing? I mean, I know I started off the intro with kind of a joke, but if you think about it, the last time that this guy played baseball, it was a completely different game. If he was time traveled all the way to 2019 and then he heard of the rules that we're about to talk about, I don't know if he'd be excited or if he'd be extremely disappointed. So let's start talking about it. Before we do that, make sure you guys like and subscribe if you do enjoy baseball content because summer's around the corner. Baseball's about to be the main sport that everyone talks about. Also, if you guys are going to any spring training or any sporting events whatsoever, make sure you guys use my code Fuzzy on Seatgeek. You can save 20 bucks on spring training tickets, NBA tickets, anything like that. So now that we have my little self-promotion out the way, let's get into it. I was actually in the process of making a completely different video when someone by the name of P. Abraham came out with this tweet. Now, all it said was, the dawn of robot umpires is upon us. And I thought to the movie I, Robot, I just thought Will Smith, I, Robot, the dawn of robot umpires are upon us. And that is not the only thing that this man brought up in this tweet. So if we take a look at this picture right here, we can see Major League Baseball and the Atlantic League of Professional Baseball, the ALPB, announced today the experimental playing rules and equipment that will be in place during the 2019 Atlantic League Championship season. The list of changes is as follows. So I'm gonna read off the rules right now. We're gonna talk about them all individually, kind of one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 changes coming in 2019 in the ALPB. So the first rule is home plate umpire assisted in calling balls and strikes by a TrackMan radar tracking system. So if you guys have ever heard of NORAD, NORAD is what helps you to track Santa on Christmas Eve and then eventually Christmas when he delivers all the presents. Yeah, we're pretty much gonna have NORAD in baseball, and only we're gonna be having, okay, what? So that's the first rule. There will be robotic umpires helping out the human umpires, which is what has been in the game of baseball since our man Babe was in the game. But you know what? Let's go to the second rule, okay? No mound visits permitted by players or coaches other than for pitching changes or medical issues. So you cannot visit the mound unless you are going to make a pitching change. Pitchers must face a minimum of 3 batters or reach the end of an inning before they exit the game unless the pitcher becomes injured. I can see that getting exploited. If you bring in a lefty for, I don't know, let's bring up Josh Hamilton because he wasn't very good against lefties. So you bring in Jake Diekman against Josh Hamilton. After one hitter, you're just going to say, oh, I pulled my arm, and then he's out the game. So I don't know how that's going to work. The fourth rule, increase size of first, second, and third base from 15 inches square to 18 inches square. Maybe this is the Manny Machado effect, the fact that he's always cleating players. Maybe by making the first base and second base and all of the bags a little bit bigger, maybe there will be less collisions at first base. I don't know. Require 2 infielders to be on each side of second base when a pitch is released. If not, the ball is dead and the umpire shall call a ball. So pretty much what this rule is saying is that if you implement the shift, if you have Joey Gallo up at the dish and you want to move all of your infielders to the right hand side, no, it's actually going to be called a ball. So instead of getting an out because of analytics, it's going to be called a ball. Crazy. Time between innings and pitching changes reduced from 2 minutes and 5 seconds to 1:45. Okay, so you have 1:45 pretty much to get from the end of the at bat to the brand new inning. And then last but not least, distance from pitching rubber to home plate extended 24 inches in the second half of the season only, with no change to mound height or slope. So currently right now in professional baseball, MLB, the mound is 60 feet 6 inches away from home plate. So the 24 inches additionally that they will add will bring that to a grand total of 62.6 inches, which is I don't know. So what we're going to do is we're going to recap pretty much all of the most important rules that I think of, which is going to be the robots, the no shift, and the pitching changes. Those are just things that we have to talk about it. And the thing that I want you guys to know is I do work with Major League Baseball. I'm reaching for some stuff right now. So I have a custom thank you note from MLB. I have media credentials from going to spring training and actually being part of the Major League Baseball media team. I have other notes from Major League Baseball. Heck, I even have a Major League Baseball cup. So what I need you guys to do is I need you guys to do me a favor. In the most polite and civil way, once this video is done or throughout the video, I want you guys to write me a comment with what you think of all of these different changes. Do you like the robot umpires? Do you like the mound being pushed back 24 inches? Do you like banning the shift? I need you guys to be nice about it, because if Major League Baseball is going to watch this video, and I can pretty much guarantee you that they are, at least we have to present some arguments as to why they should and why they shouldn't. So you might as well be nice about it. Don't be little Jimmy the keyboard warrior who's just spamming, I hate these rules, play football, or I like LeBron James. Don't be that guy. So on one side you have Gen Z, on another side you have all of the different players that pretty much grew up watching Babe Ruth or Stan Musial or just the older generation of baseball players, and I can pretty much guarantee you that they're going to emphatically deny this rule change because they want to keep the human element in baseball. And to be honest with you, even though I'm considered a millennial, even though I'm considered a Gen Z, I like the human element. Now don't get me wrong, every time I see an Angel Hernandez clip or just a Jim Joyce clip, sometimes I just think to myself, you know what, if we had a robot back there, there would be no argument, there would be nothing to debate about. But it's one of those things where the first side of the argument is they're trying to keep the human side of baseball. The other side is that they want change, they want the game to improve, they want it to advance as a sport. So they're thinking, you know, if we have perfect pitches and you can't argue and there's no ejections, maybe that will speed the game up, because I can pretty much guarantee you the reason why they want a robot calling balls and strikes is it's because you have managers constantly being thrown out because they're arguing balls and strikes. And then honestly, some umpires just have a really short leash. So I've seen Chris Bryant get ejected for absolutely no reason, just for barking back at the umpire. I mean, that's been part of baseball for a long time. But then on the other hand, you have people saying that there should be a tracking system because, again, it's going to make the game more efficient, it's going to make it more proficient. A lot less players are going to be thrown out because it's a ball, it's a strike. There's no wiggle room around it. There's not going to be players thrown out. There's not going to be managers being thrown out. So that's the other side as well. So now I'm going to turn it back to you guys. The first rule change. Do you think that we should have robot umpires? Let me know in the comment section down below, yes or no. So all of these changes are big news, but again, I thought that there was 3 core changes. There was the robots, there was the banning the shift, and then there was the extending the mound. Now we're going to talk about banning of the shift. So pretty much what they said is that if you think of the diamond, you can only have a third baseman and shortstop on one side, and then you can only have a second baseman and first baseman on the other side of second base. So if you divide the diamond in one half, you can only have 2 infielders on each side of it. But you can play them wherever you want. So let's say you want to put first base towards right field, or let's say you want to put the second baseman right up the middle. You can do that, but you cannot have the shortstop or the third baseman on the right side of the diamond. Now, again, there's 2 sides to every single story, so we're going to break that down right now. A lot of people are calling for the shift to be banned because they feel like it takes away from the fun of the game. I actually had a chance to talk with Joey Gallo about this at spring training, and my favorite part about this conversation is the fact that Joey Gallo, if you look at the numbers, his shift rates are through the roof. Every time that this man comes up to the dish, there is a shift. I can pretty much promise you, every single plate appearance in 2018 and probably in 2019, there will be a major shift on Joey Gallo. So I was talking to him about it. Does he like the shift? Does he not like the shift? Obviously, players do not like the shift, but he is literally learning to take a good fastball and take it to left field as a bunt, as opposed to trying to mash it over the right field wall, maybe rolling over and grounding out to the second baseman, or even lining out to the second baseman who's playing in shallow right field. So if you can get some base hits to the left-hand side by bunting, which Joey Gallo has done twice already in spring training, or if you can squeak some base hits to the left side, you're improving your overall game. And what will that lead to? It'll lead to those teams not shifting you anymore. So in essence, what Joey Gallo is confirming is that if you are a good enough hitter, you can ban the shift yourself. If you drive it to the opposite way, there's no need to keep 2 guys on this side and 2 guys on this side. But I guess a lot of people are saying, you know, it's hard to hit a ball that's thrown 99 miles an hour on the inside part of the plate to the left side. I mean, you can try and jam yourself, but I mean, that hurts. You're going to shatter your bat. So again, I can see the other side of saying, you know what, it's just sometimes it's impossible for a left-handed hitter to hit a Mariano Rivera cutter to the left-hand side. And that's the perfect example. Let's say that there's the second coming of Mariano Rivera. The guy's never going to give up a run or a hit to a left-handed hitter because he's going to jam him cutter inside, cutter inside, cutter inside. There's no way that he's going to be able to hit that to the opposite way, and if it is, it's going to be a weak dribbler over to the pitcher and he's going to be out. So I think at this point, again, there's both sides. What do you guys make of it? Do you want to see the shift banned? Do you want the third baseman and shortstop to stay on one side of the field and then the second baseman and first side on the other? Or are you in the group that says, you know what, they're professional baseball players, they're being paid millions millions and millions of dollars. In the case of Joey Gallo, sometimes just to be a DH, they should be able to hit the ball wherever they want. So there's two different sides. Let me know. And then the last of the three major changes that I think are coming to the ALPB in 2019 is they will be extending the mound from 60 feet 6 inches to 62 feet 6 inches. So I don't really understand why this is coming into effect. Not sure if there was a lot of injuries caused by comebackers last year. So let's say, for example, you left a 95-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. Hitter pretty much barreled it up straight up the middle, and maybe it hits the pitcher in the leg or the face and causes bodily harm. Maybe that's why they're doing it, but I don't know. Maybe it's because every single pitcher in the game seems to be throwing 105 miles an hour. I mean, when you have Jordan Hicks throwing a 104-mile-an-hour sinker, how are you supposed to hit that? So maybe they're thinking the guys are throwing way too hard, harder than ever. Let's go ahead and push the mound back. So on one side you have, okay, so fastballs are going to be a little bit easier to hit, but what about the off-speed pitches? If you're throwing changeups and curveballs 2 feet further than you were before, they're not going to be as effective. So I'm wondering how this would play out and how it is going to play out, because it is going to be implemented in the ALPB. So on one side you have the group that is saying, you know what, pitchers are becoming way too good. Offense was the best when Barry Bonds was hitting 73 home runs, when you had the home run race between Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds. It was a lot more fun when offense was king. So maybe they're trying to improve that. Maybe they're trying to avoid injuries by comebackers. But on the other hand, you have the people that are saying, don't change the game of baseball. Just because players are getting better doesn't mean that you have to completely change the game, because if pitchers are getting better, how come hitters can't get better? I'm ranting. Oh my gosh. You know what? We're going to take a little break. We're going to ask our man Babe over here what he thinks. So Babe, what do you think of banning the shift?
Remember, kid,
Uh-huh.
there's heroes and there's legends.
Yeah, that's all he says. That's all he says. So what do you guys make of all these rules? Do you want robotic umpires in baseball? Do you want to see the shift banned? Do you want the pitching mound to be extended by 2 feet? There's the other small rules, like there's no mound visit unless the player is injured or you're making a pitching change. There's the other ones where you have to face a minimum of 3 hitters. So let's say you want to bring in a lefty versus a lefty. You're going to have to leave that lefty pitcher in for the next 2 hitters. And even if he gets the first hitter out, the one that you were trying to do, so there's not going to be as many platoons, but you never know. I don't know, man. Baseball players figure out everything. There's the increase the size of the bags from 15 inches to 18 inches. I'm pretty sure that's to avoid being cleated, because Manny Machado showed that it's fairly easy to do that. The time between innings is now decreased from 2 minutes and 5 seconds to 1 minute and 45 seconds. So again, all these rules are trying to do is they're trying to speed up the game. And I just think that we need to slow ourselves down, because I don't know if the game of baseball is going to be saved by shaving off 13 minutes on every single game. Now I know that adds up and you're going to be saving a lot of time, but 13 minutes per game, I mean, you could go get peanuts and come back, not really miss anything, and that's 13 minutes. So now I need your guys' help. Let me know in the comment section down below all of your opinions and give me your perspective on all of these different changes. Would you want to see any of them in Major League Baseball? Maybe 1 out of 7, maybe 5 out of 7, maybe all of them. Maybe you want the game to be sped up. In my opinion, I feel like there shouldn't be robotic umpires. I think that players should be able to, hit the ball the other way if they're getting paid $20 million. And then the final one of the pitching mound, I mean, no, I'm good. But again, if you think I'm wrong, these are all opinions. That's the best part about this video, is we can be civil about it. We can debate back and forth, so you guys have to let me know your opinion. Honestly, I have a couple different rules that I'm going to tell you guys right now that should be changed going forward. The second one maybe isn't so much a rule as opposed to just I think that they should do more of. But the first rule is, why in the heck is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. being kept in the minors for 2 extra weeks or 3 extra weeks, maybe a month going forward into the 2019 Major League Baseball season? Because the Blue Jays want to be able to keep him for more time under contract, because if they keep him in the minors, he's going to have professional service time, which means that they'll be able to add an additional year onto his contract, so he doesn't have to get paid sooner. So not only are you keeping Vladimir Guerrero Jr. from getting paid, you're also keeping the fans and your team from having the best team possible on your field. I hate that. That needs to be rid of. It's been happening since Chris Bryant. The Cubs held Chris Bryant down in the minors for 2 to 3 weeks, and then they called him up, so they didn't have their best players on their field. I hate that rule. I know that was implemented in the players agreement or the collective bargaining agreement. I'm not really too sure what it was, but before I get too upset and too heated about that one specific rule of holding your best players down because you want more service time, that's a loophole that I think needs to be addressed tomorrow. And then the last thing is, I think that players need to be mic'd up more, whether it's the All-Star game or whether it's a random Tuesday game where in the 5th inning they cut to Mookie Betts out in right field and they have a conversation with him. I think that's so much more fun. It keeps the fans engaged. There's actually some clips on Twitter right now of Mookie Betts, Brock Holt, There's Jonathan Scope on the Twins. They're all mic'd up, and it's so much more fun than just sitting there watching the game and just, you're droning at that point. Sometimes, I'll be honest with you, baseball gets to the point where it's the 7th inning. I don't even really remember what happened, especially if it's a pitching duel. If they could cut to Mike Trout, if they could cut to Bryce Harper and get their feedback on the game itself and just ask some fun questions, that would be so much better for the game instead of extending the mound back 2 feet. So what do you guys think of all the changes? Do you think that they should be implemented? Do you think that they shouldn't? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm gonna wrap it up right there. I'm gonna go take a shower because I am sweating bullets right now because I'm so passionate about this. I'm gonna drink some water because I'm dehydrated as well. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Man, I love baseball too much. This is bad.